Hello and welcome. This is EagleEye621, and what you see behind me is the fastest way to dupe Rails. There's a couple more things you need, which I will show you how to make, show you how to build this, and then show you how you can turn it into that monstrosity that you see behind me, which puts that other monstrosity to shame, and I will tell you how to get your comment pinned for those that watch most of the video. There are 3 things you need to put in your comment, and I will tell you as we go along, but let's get started with the material list, which includes that right there and the rest that you'll need. And if you see this row right here up top, and these 2 things are what you saw right there, it's going to be our clock. And then this right here is what you're going to need in order to be able to duplicate the rails. And you can use as many of this row as you would like. So 1 of these, and then as many of these as you want. And then the glass is 100% optional. It's just to help me show you exactly how things work. So let's head over to this chest, which is just our clock. Let's get that into the inventory and get started. Let's come a couple of blocks up off the ground. And we're going to put our sticky piston, and it does have to be sticky, facing on that block so that we can have a lever to power that. We're going to put our slime block right on its face with our redstone block on top and any log you would like on the bottom. We're going to have our leaf block, any leaf block you would like, come across just like this, and any immovable block that you want right on top. This could be terracotta, it could be a furnace, anything that the slime block won't grab. Then we're going to have our observer looking at that leaf block with a solid block as an output. We're going to flip around right here, and we're going to make some room in the inventory so that we can have our repeater facing away from this redstone block on that original 1 tick. It's going to face into a solid block, and then our 2 bits of dust. And just like that, we have one of my favorite clocks. You see this in my TNT Go Burr video and my fastest carpet duping video. And if you're with me this far, don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell in case YouTube has unsubscribed you. And the first thing you're going to need to get your comment pinned is in your comment, tell me my favorite video that is not this one that you've seen. Don't post that comment just yet because you do need the other 2 components. And let's get rid of these and show you the last part, and that is this right here. Now, these are the individual slime block arms. You can have as many of them as you would like attached to your clock. So now, as I said, we have 1 extra stone block with an extra redstone dust, just so that we can continue our pattern. And if you want to make it a little bit fancier, you can go up and down. That makes it a little bit easier in order to be able to extend it and not have any issues where they interfere with each other. And then you're going to put your sticky piston connected to 1 of those blocks. So I like to do it like this, just to make sure there's no interference. And you can go just like that as well. And then you're going to put 1 and 2 just like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, counting with EagleEye621 just like that. And now it is important that you take your coral fan, and either it's dead or it will die because there's no water, and you put it right here closest to the slime block extender, that is the sticky piston. And then you can put any combination of rails that you would like, just like this. I'll show that one more time on this side. So we're going to go 1 and then 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with our coral as close to the the sticky piston as you can, and then any combination of these rails that you would like. Now the glass is just a little bit of cleanliness, so if we take these in a way that the slime won't grab them, just so that I can show you, and everything will stay a little bit closer together. Give it room to expand, and then come across in the front, and we should be good to go. Turning this on, and you will see that we do have rails duplicating. You can see this one's a lot messier, and this one is a lot cleaner because we were just keeping it inside. So now let's talk a little bit about how this is working and the rates in which this is working and why this is better than that older clock that you saw in the last video. And just to give you an idea about how fast it is, let's just get these into the inventory and see. Did not take long to get a tremendous number of rails. Speaking of which, let's just delete them all and talk about the rates of the older farm versus the newer farm. So this is the older farm, and this is the newer farm. And the second thing you will need to add to your comment is how fast this produces items. So how fast does this produce items versus this original clock? Now you can see that this one produced about 1.6 million per hour with 45 arms and 36,000 per slice. And the way that per slice works is that this is a 2 redstone clock. That's 4 game ticks, and your slime only duplicates on the retraction. So if you see with a manual lever, on the extension, not the retraction, as you just saw, it duplicated extending, but it did not duplicate pulling it back in. And it does that every time. So if you need a redstone-less clock and you don't consider the lever to be redstone, then this is your manual clock to dupe all of those rails. Now, with the 2 redstone tick clock, which is the same as a 4 game tick clock, that means it takes 8 ticks to cycle, and with 72,000 ticks in an hour, that is how you get the math here. So if we turn this on for a couple of seconds, and my computer doesn't crash, and turn it back off, you can see this older monstrosity produces quite a lot of entities very fast. Now, this clock over here is a 3 game tick clock, which means it's a 6 game tick cycle, which means with 72,000 ticks per hour, you get 12,000 dupes per rail. And with 4 rails per arm, that's 48,000 rails per arm. And this thing, has 68 arms, if I've done my math correctly, which means 3,264,000 per hour. And let's see if this is going to crash my computer. While we're waiting to see what happens, that is the second thing you need to have in your comment to get it pinned. And let's turn this off, and hopefully the video is still recording. Hopefully. And then in just those few seconds, double what that can do. So that's how you can turn your machine as big as you want. There really is no good way to collect this because it's too fast for any hopper system. Most of the rails end up landing on top of the arm, so you can't really have any water systems. So your best bet is really just to make a couple of these arms and then run along it and collect it as needed. And that's really all there is to it. You can take this as far as your redstone signal will go, and any combination of those rails that you want. And for the third thing you need to get your comment pinned, you just have to remind people to subscribe to the channel if they are reading your comment. And even if there are a couple other comments that have been pinned, and you can only have one at a time, I will rotate through a bunch of them for a while. So if you do all of those steps and you leave that comment below, I will try and make it so that yours does show up as a pinned comment for at least a little while. That's all there is to it. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate that like. If you found it helpful, maybe even consider sharing it with a friend or your favorite Minecraft YouTuber, although most of those don't use dupes in their world. And for more videos just like this, do be sure to subscribe. Let me note that there is a Discord linked below. You can come and chat with us, and I do have a join button if you're interested in supporting me in that way with a couple of extra perks. Again, that's next to the subscription button, so click it and you can find out all about that. Thanks again for stopping by.